Once you do that, it turns out there are 3 enduring motivators, and one of them is the key to cracking this technological problem with engagement. 3 enduring motivators: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. I want to talk about autonomy because it's going to allow us to crack the technological problem behind these staggering levels of disengagement. Because to understand autonomy, we have to understand this word right here: management. Management. Should always be said like that. Management. We take this word too seriously. We take this word too seriously. We think that management is something that's always been here, right? Something that emanated from nature, something that was given to us by God. No, it's not. Management, let's take it off of its pedestal and let's think about what it really is, because it's going to allow us to crack this problem. Management is just a technology. It's a technology for organizing people into productive capacities. It's a technology from the 1850s. We don't use that many 1850s technologies today, do we? Most of you, any of you have a wireless device? Okay. How many of you is your wireless device a telegraph? Okay. We've upgraded our technologies. Here's the thing: management hasn't always been here. It's a technology. It's morally neutral. It's a brilliant technology. It's one of the greatest technologies humankind has ever invented. But it's a technology with a singular purpose. It's a technology designed to get compliance. It's a technology designed to get compliance, to get people to do what you want them to do the way you want them to do it. We still need compliance in our organizations, in part, but more and more we need engagement. And here's the thing: management is not a technology that gets you engagement. It's a technology designed to get compliance. Even if you sand off the rough edges, even if you oil the gears, management is still a technology designed to get compliance. If you really want engagement, the technology is self-direction. That's how human beings engage. That's how you engage. That's how the people you love engage. If you're truly engaged in something, you get there under your own steam. And so the reason, take a look at this. Here is another chart on engagement, and basically what it shows is that basically for this entire century, we've had levels of disengagement in the workplace hovering around 80%. It's unbelievable. 80%. We have 18% in 2012 of people saying that they're engaged on their job. That's a problem. But it's a technological problem. The technological problem is we're using the wrong technology. You cannot manage people into engagement. The technology for engagement is self-direction. That's how you, as individuals, engage. That's how the people that you love engage. So if you really want engagement rather than compliance, you got to use a different technology, the technology of self-direction. And what that means is you got to look for ways to give people greater amounts of autonomy over the various aspects of their job, over their time, when they do what they do, over their task, what they actually do, over their team, who they do it with, and over their technique. When people have a little bit more sovereignty over these aspects of their work, they do better, because that's how human beings engage. Now, if you're skeptical of this, and I find that a lot of managers are skeptical of this. I'm all for healthy skepticism. No, self-direction can't be the technology for engagement. Try this question. Try this question at the ice cream social this afternoon. Sounds pretty cool. You get plenty of glucose in your system too, so you can think straight. Ask somebody, hey, describe the best boss you ever had. Describe the best boss you ever had. Very rarely will you hear people describe the best boss they ever had like this. Oh, the best boss I ever had. She was amazing. She was amazing. She breathed down my neck the whole time. She told me exactly what to do and precisely how to do it. She was unbelievably, almost pathologically controlling, and as a consequence, I was utterly compliant. It was the best working relationship of my life. Ask this question, and we've been asking this question, and it goes really to the heart of what Joseph was talking about with regard to accountability. If you ask this question, tell me about the best boss you ever had, you invariably hear this: high standards and autonomy. High standards and autonomy. because that's how people engage. So let's talk about some ways that companies are doing. I'm going to rip through, I'm going to give you a half dozen examples of things that are going on. We're going to go through really quickly, and then we'll wrap up. Let's take Zappos. Zappos has call centers. Zappos is an online shoe company. Zappos has call centers. Call centers are one of the worst jobs in the United States of America. They have average annual turnover rate in American call centers is about 100%. Basically, full turnover on average each year. They're terrible jobs. You're tethered to a headset, a call comes in, beep. You type something into your computer to try to dispatch the caller as quickly as possible. Read your script, dispatch the caller. Calls are almost always timed, calls are almost always monitored, calls are almost always recorded. Zappos says, we're going to do it differently. They hire people, give them a few weeks of training, they station them at their desks, and they put them at grown-up desks rather than the little hamstery cubicles that most call centers use. And they say, when a call comes in, here's your job. Solve the customer's problem. That's it. Do it your way. We're not going to record your calls. We're not going to time your calls. We're not going to monitor your calls. What we are going to do is we're going to be maniacal about getting feedback from our customers. We're going to make sure our customers are happy. Zappos comes out of nowhere to have one of the highest customer service ratings of any company in any industry in North America. Customer service ratings that rival the Four Seasons hotels. It's an online shoe company in Nevada. How does it do this? It starts with a different premise. If you start with the premise that people want to shirk, that they can't be trusted, and therefore need to be controlled, that leads you down one path. If you start with the opposite premise, that people want to do good work, that they want to contribute, that leads you down another path, not only nicer, but demonstrably more effective. Let's give you another example, really awesome example here. Atlassian, it's an Australian software company, and they do something really cool. Once a quarter, on Thursday afternoons, they say to their software developers, for the next 24 hours, go work on anything you want, as long as it's not part of your regular job. Do it the way you want, do it with whomever you want, do whatever you want. The only thing we ask is that you show what you've created to the rest of the company on Friday afternoon in this fun freewheeling meeting. They call these things FEDEX days, because you have to deliver something overnight. I should say they called them FedEx days because about a year ago they got a cease and desist letter from FedEx. So they now call it ship it days. But regardless of what you call it, it turns out that this one day of intense, undiluted autonomy has led to a whole array of fixes for existing software, ideas for new products, improvements to internal processes that had otherwise never emerged. This is exactly what Joseph is saying in another context. Accountability is the fruit. Accountability is the fruit. If you give people autonomy, if people are allowed to do great things, all right, it's a totally different premise. It's not saying, hey, if you do something groovy here at Atlassian, I'll give you a carrot. It's saying we hire good people want to do good things. One way to help good people do good things is to get out of their way for a day. Accountability is the fruit of autonomy. I want to end on this point about autonomy and self-direction as the pathway to accountability to great work. Because when you say this, inevitably you're going to have some people who respond like this. Sentences that begin with some people. You know what I'm talking about. The only thing more insidious than sentences that begin with those people are sentences that begin with some people. Some people just aren't motivated, Dan. Some people just can't handle autonomy, Dan. Some people actually want to be controlled, Dan. And I just think that's wrong. Not wrong morally. I just think it's an inaccurate depiction of who human beings are. Why do I say that? Number one, I've never heard anybody say that about themselves. I can't handle autonomy. I need to be controlled. It's always about someone else. But the other reason, I think it goes to the heart of what a lot of what's going on here at Vital Smarts, which is this. The other reason I say this is because I'm a father. I got 3 kids. I've seen babies before. I defy you. We are not wired to be passive and inert. That is not the human condition. And if you don't believe me about that, go out there. I defy you. I challenge you. Go out somewhere and bring me a 2-year-old who is not active and engaged. Go out there and find me a 4-year-old who is passive and inert. You won't be able to do that. Why? Because being active and engaged in self-direction is who we are. That is the default setting when the product ships from the factory, right? That's what's checked. And so if people aren't motivated or feel or are acting in ways that are passive and, that make them passive and inert, I'm convinced that's learned behavior. That's not the essence of who they are. That's the legacy of organizations and schools using the wrong technology. So my call to you is to do this. Think about those kids and think about the people in your organizations, the people you're training, as grown-up versions of those kids, as inherently active and engaged. And I think if we do that, we start from that premise. You know what I think we can do? I think we can grow this economy. I think we can build organizations that work. And I think at some level, we can allow everybody to live up to his or her God-given potential. Thanks for your time.